to the regulations in particular. And we are appealing to you again once more to continue to abide by the regulation. We need you to comply. Regulations are clear. You have the various schedule, the hand washing and the sanitization protocols for good hygiene, which is Regulation 14, and it clearly outlines what you need to do. And we are appealing to, in particular, to the public transportation sector, bus drivers. We have gone from 4 to about 60, 70% to full capacity, with the agreement that the drivers and also the passengers will be wearing their mask. Every day we have complaints of persons who are not wearing their mask. And we are appealing to drivers and our citizens to have that responsibility to let the driver know, listen, we need to have persons wearing their mask. It's one of the means in which will help us curtail the transmission of the virus. So again, we are appealing to the public transportation sector, whether it be ferry, whether it be by sea, whether it be by land. Please do your best to comply with the regulation. Same for the social distancing and physical distancing protocols. Several meetings that we have had with various sectors, we keep emphasizing these measures. The reason being is that we have to engrave them as part of our culture going forward. We are going to be dealing with this pandemic for a good while. How long? We don't know. How can we address it? How can we manage this? By ensuring that we comply with the simple advice that is being given to all of us: social distancing, physical distancing, and other hygiene measures. So it's important that we comply. Now, the task force has been engaging with a number of stakeholders. Recently, we would have engaged with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. We have also, with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, we were able to give them an update regarding the several initiatives that we have undertaken as it regards to the return of the Ross University students, the easing of a number of the regulative measures, and also one of the major concerns, again, like everybody else who wants to know the $1 million, the answer for the question of opening the borders. So that meeting went very well. We were able to update, we were able to listen to the members of the chambers, or well, the board in particular, and their concerns. I'm hoping that we would have left with an amicable understanding as to where we are right now. Superintendent Henry would have spoken on the bars at the Strip. However, I visited one just for the sake of visiting, and I was served by one of the waiters without anything. I mean, there was no hygiene protocols followed. There was absolutely no wearing of any mask or anything. And these are some of the things that's going to cause us to basically continue to tighten up on these measures, because we are saying over and over that we need to learn to coexist with this virus. And the only way that we can coexist with this virus and manage this situation is by you abiding by the protocols that have been set by the regulations. So I'm appealing again to all these sectors to continue to adhere to the regulations. The National Carnival Committee would also have engaged a task force, and we look at many ways in which activities may or may not be held during the carnival, and there are some decisions to be made here with regards to the hosting of National Carnival in December, thereabout. So those meetings are ongoing. We had a very good meeting with the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine. Those discussions are still ongoing as to how can we strengthen the protocols that we just established for the return of the 123 students, and how best we can actually make some of those a regular practice. The Just as important, we met with the catamaran cruise tour operators here at NEMA, and I think that meeting was well attended. And I want to thank the Ministry of Tourism also for engaging in this discussion. We have allowed a number of catamaran operators to be able to operate under some stringent measures. For example, they will have to make an application, and after making the application will be vetted, and once we are satisfied that they can function, they will be allowed to function until the next iteration of the regulations are amended to allow them to do so freely. So I really want to thank them for cooperating with the measures that we have put in place for them. Cinemas. We also visited the cinema, and we are hopeful that with the cinema should be able to operate soonest. Again, the regulation is very clear. Once a business can satisfy all the protocols that have been set by the regulations, they may operate. No, they have done so, and the task force is satisfied that they can begin to operate under the protocols that they have set. Repatriation of flights, again, we have been getting so much requests that I think our system is overloaded at the moment. There are many nationals and residents who are working in St. Kitts and Nevis who are desirous of returning to St. Kitts and Nevis. And some persons are still finding it challenging, and I want to set the record straight. The OTI is a government-designated facility, does not belong to the government. And again, we keep thanking them for coming on board for us to be able to use it as a control means to contain anyone. And we have seen the successes of doing so. You see that we had one of the cases that came, was repatriated, quarantined, identified, detected, identified, and they were contained, managed. And this is what we want to do. We want to maintain the status of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we have made significant sacrifice to ensure, and we are going to continue to make those significant sacrifices. So we are asking the general public to continue to support. Now, the facilities are owned by TDC. We have to pay, according to the contract, $500 US per room. That has nothing to do with the payment of the utilities, such as electricity, water, cable, internet. And we still have our security forces who are at that facility providing security so that individuals would not leave the facility and go into the society and just integrate and then spread any potential virus. So therefore, the cost for the maintenance and sustainment of such a facility is enormous. The $500 that is being contributed cannot, again, I emphatically state, it cannot maintain that facility. So we have to share that responsibility. And again, I am appealing for understanding in the sharing of responsibility, whereby by the time the utilities are paid and the other underlying matters that have to be paid, the $500 does not sustain such. So it's important that we understand the shared responsibility that the government is taking in terms of helping with this control mechanism. We have seen a lot of the discussion, and Dr. Laws, I think, was very comprehensive regarding the Ross University students, and I want to thank Mr. Ray Francis for being here today. He's the Vice President of Operations at the Ross University. So any questions he will be able to answer. So I'm stating that he's here, so please ask your questions so that he could clarify. Now, this is what the facility is. You can see the image on your screen. There is no way any student will be able to leave that facility. The facility is corralled, is properly cordoned. There are securities at various points throughout the facility. And for you to enter that facility, one of these security forces, in particular those of the government, and let me make it clear, these facilities are under the responsibility of the government security forces. We have taken that responsibility from the Ross University until this operation is over. Before you enter, one of our security officers from the government will have to let you in. Once they let you in, you have to go through a number of processes. And the reason why I said that, I visited the facility today to have a discussion with Mr. Francis, and I visited it with one of the co-chair of the Mitigation Council. And in doing so, the process that you have to go through is very thorough, just to enter the facility, and even to leave the facility. Every waste, everything has to be collected. You have to get a new mask, pair of gloves, sanitize. So if you come with your own mask, you have to leave your own mask behind, and you will get a new mask as you enter. When you are leaving, the process is reversed, where you sanitize, you take off what was given to you, and is properly disposed of. That's how stringent the process and the protocols are. And I think we have to have an appreciation for this, because this is positioning us to be able to process a large number of individuals, incoming travelers, as we endeavor to open our borders at some point in time. When, we don't know. But hopefully, whenever we open up, St. Kitts and Nevis will not go into a seesaw type of action, whereby we open and close, open and close. We want to have a robust system so that once we open, we can remain sustainable and coexist with COVID-19. With that said, I want to thank you for listening, and I look forward to your questions. Oh, how could I forget my hurricane preparedness tip for today? Right, so today we want to look for hurricane preparedness, we want to look at communication. And one of the things I want to encourage persons is to stay connected and get official weather reports and updates from the relevant authorities, such as the St. Kitts Nevis Met Office and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMO. Also important is for you to ensure that your cell phones remain charged, and also top it up. Put on sufficient money on it. Get a small AM, FM radio. I don't know if they exist anymore, but that's why you remember those really small little radios from a long time ago. You put 2-pen-light battery and they last the whole year. It's important to get some of these small radios in times of disasters. Equally important, I want to advise all of you to become aware of the St. Kitts Nevis Amateur Radio Association. If there's one thing I can tell you about that professional non-government organizational group, is that they're efficient when it comes to radio communication. They can keep you communicated when everybody else goes down. So if you know one or two of these operators, get familiar with them, and they can assist you with communication. So there you have it. That's your hurricane preparedness tip for today. Thank you, Mr. Williams.